Fantasy football is back, and it is week 13. D Nasty, what's up? Watching this Monday night game,
Yeah,
3-13.
game.
Yeah, low scoring, right?
Not a good fantasy game at all. I'm excited though. Thanksgiving week, gobble gobble. We got some Thanksgiving games this week. Those are always fun to watch while you're filling our faces with food, and then go into food coma after that. So exciting week here, and we actually have a Friday game this week too. So we'll get into that in a little bit here. But no bye weeks this week, so you don't have to worry about any buys this week.
No buys food and drink, my man. It's gonna be fun. Do some family stuff for the weekend. Watch some big games. You got the Ohio State Michigan game in the morning on Saturday. You got the Bears on Friday. It's going to be a fully loaded weekend. Packers on Thursday. Yeah, it's going to be fun, Dave. And you know what's good? Not a ton of injuries. Not too bad. And we might even get a key guy back on Thursday, Dave. Quarterback Baker Mayfield is sprained his left shoulder, but he's day to day. I guess he can possibly play next Sunday. T. Higgins. Now that's the one that was concussed, and he'll miss Thursday's game. But it's Iowasis is back, and Michael Mayer, I guess, but he's not really a fantasy starter. Tight end Michael Mayer. Alvin Kamara was the bigger one with the knee injury, and quarterback J.J. McCarthy had concussion symptoms today and may miss a week. But as everyone knows, smoking Joe Burrow, he's coming back probably.
Yes, I love it. That's going to be huge for fantasy owners. So definitely, if you got him putting back in your lineup, he's going to elevate everyone too. He'll elevate T. Higgins when he comes back. Chase is back this week after his suspension, so Chase might have a huge week. But yeah, implications with him back. Even Chase Brown might be a little bit better with him back now too, as well. So he hasn't really he's had a down year as well. He's been kind of a disappointment this year. So definitely nice to have Burrow back now.
Yep, and I'm hoping for a shootout because I have Lamar Jackson, Dave, and he's been absolute fantasy trash this year. Awful,
especially the last couple weeks. This week, especially.
I mean, he missed 4 weeks or so. Was it 3, 4, something like that? And then this is the performance you've been putting on. I don't even remember a big game from him. This is the worst Lamar year I've ever seen. And of course, it's the year I drafted him. I mean, I must have jinxed him, Dave.
There's been a couple guys with down years though, like Brian Thomas. He was a fantasy stud last year, and he's been injured on and off all year. He hasn't really performed. AJ Brown, he had a good week this week, but up until now, he's been hit or miss. So a lot of fantasy disappointments this year. So unfortunately, I've had a few of these guys, but I didn't get too many of them, so that helped actually. But injuries were definitely key this year in a lot of my leagues as well.
100%. I don't know what's up with Brian Thomas. It feels like he's in the doghouse on that team. And that's why when we get into waiver wire here, we'll talk about it. But what did I miss? Anything for injuries, or should we move into waivers?
That's pretty much it. Those are the major ones, and then I'm just looking through. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to probably be out. He missed this last week with the left wrist, but we talked about him last week. And then the Baker Mayfield was the big one, and then Kamara. Those are the two bigger ones. So yeah, that's about it for injury wise.
Yeah. All right. Well, get in the waivers, Dave.
All right. Well, first off, we're going to go with the waiver wire. Cam Ward, actually, he actually had a pretty good game this past week. So he's been playing well the last couple weeks, actually. So he's a guy you want to take a look at, maybe possibly plugging in with the right matchups this coming weeks. Jameis Winston, he actually caught a touchdown this past weekend, which was awesome. And he stiffed arm a guy on it too. So if he starts another week, he's definitely good for streaming for another week. Jackson Dart probably will be back this week, though, but keep an eye on that. If Winston does start again, he's a good play this week. And then Tua is actually back this week after bye. So definitely, if anyone dropped him during the bye, definitely pick him up.
Us NFC North fans wanted Winston to get that game done, but that defense choked, and they fired their defensive coordinator in New York.
Yeah, and Chip Kelly's gone for the Raiders as well. So just a side note on that too. So maybe the Raiders offense will be a little bit better with Chip Kelly gone because he hasn't done anything there. But Devin Neal and Taysom Hill replaced Kamara this past week. So those are two ads you definitely want to have there. Chris Rodriguez is back after a bye. If anyone forgot about him, he was the lead back before the bye. So he was getting a lot more carries. Trey Benson potentially could be back this week as well. So he's another guy that's actually has some nice fantasy implications. and he could be back this week. So definitely pick him up if he's out there. If he's not back this week, definitely next week. Dylan Sampson actually had a good game this past week. Junkins is still going to be the guy there, but he had a nice TD catch and then run. And then he actually had a couple nice runs as well. So he's getting some carries as well. And he's getting quite a few snaps. Your boy, we've talked about him, Kyle Mongai. He actually had another touchdown this week.
Yeah, he
so
did.
He's hit or miss, actually, but he's kind of taking probably like a split backfield now with Swift. Swift's been struggling the last couple weeks here. I know you could probably fill in more on that, but definitely, I think Mongai is on the upswing. Christian Watson, we talked about that last week. So, but Shamari DK, he had a return touchdown on a punt, and he actually had a receiving touchdown as well. So in those leagues that you get points for the punt or kickoff returns, he's definitely very, very valuable player. So pick him up just for that fact. Parker Washington, he's the guy that we were talking about before. He's kind of fill in for Brian Thomas. He had another good week this week as well. Christian Watson, I talked about last week. Troy Franklin, if anyone did drop him during the bye just because of the bye week, definitely scoop him up. He's probably going to be a priority add if he's out there. And DK2, I really like a lot this week, especially with Cam Ward playing better as well. And then Colston Loveland actually had another touchdown this past week. And Brendan Strange was back this week with a vengeance. 5 catches, 93 yards. He looked really good this past week. He was their leading receiver by far this past week. So
yeah, I bet I took over 25 receiving yards for him. Like freaking tripled it, man. That's how low
he had a
it was.
great game.
I saw that prop. I'm like, seriously? And then boom, he was massive. And Parker Washington
was a gimme.
Parker Washington is pretty good too. He screwed up a few routes, but he was pretty good. I have all those. Devin Neal for sure. He's a massive pickup this week. Max Brosner for the McCarthy injury too, because I think McCarthy's going to sit and not want to get embarrassed against Darnold because they booted Darnold for him last year. He's sitting just like what's his face did for UCLA against Ohio State. I am Aliva. Yeah, it's just kind of like, not going to look bad. I agree with DK, man. Former Badger. He's been awesome. Parker Washington. Colby Parkinson, believe it or not, found himself some paint this week, Dave. So there you go. Jaden Higgins, 9 targets for the Texans. Jaden Higgins. It's a lot of targets. Yeah. And Trey Benson, like you said, coming back. So I love it. Great stuff on the waiver wire. Sleepers, non-stars trending up. I'm going to start with Andre Iovasis from the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow now back there. And and T. Higgins being out, man, he's benefited. One day Chase out, one day T. Higgins out. He's really benefiting here, and he looks good for the rock getting thrown by Joe Burrow. Tight end Dawson Knox against the Steelers. Poor defense could be big. You remember that. I still think their other tight end, what's his face, is still out.
Kincaid's still out. Yes,
don't Kincaid. Quarterback Kirk Cousins, believe it or not. I mean, if you're desperate, but it's against the Jets.
He had an all right week this week.
Yeah, he had an all right week. I think he had a lot of pressure on him. But, I mean, let's just say you owned one of these quarterbacks, and it's a situation like you have Baker Mayfield and they decide to sit him. You've got a lot of options. He's maybe you got to start him.
Well, we forgot too in our waiver wire pickup. Teddy Bridgewater is the guy that replaced Mayfield. So if you do have Baker Mayfield, Teddy Bridgewater is the backup that you want to pick up for him as well.
Good call. Darnell Mooney was awesome last week, and he'll be a nice good start too. Malik Washington against the Saints for the Miami Dolphins. I like Malik Washington and Parker Washington against the Titans. Both Washingtons looking good this week. Travion Henderson against the Giants. Oh man, did you see Joe Gibbs or Gibbs go off this week? Jahmyr Gibbs. He was amazing.
In a couple of my fantasy leagues, which sucked. It wasn't fun playing against him, but I had him in a couple of my leagues though, so I dominated in those leagues. 59 points in a couple of my leagues he scored.
Oh my God,
ridiculous!
Just nuts. And that's what you get with the Giants, man. Just terrible rushing D. Kenneth Gainwell against the Bills should be okay too. Kenneth Gainwell got a lot of touchdowns last week against the Bears. He's been splitting carries with Warren almost. He's get some passes too. I like Kenneth Gainwell a lot lately. RJ Harvey against the Commanders. Don't forget him because Dobbins is out, Dave. I like RJ Harvey this week. Justice Hill can get some cleanup time against the Bengals if you're desperate. Like a little Justice Hill this week. Quarterback Cam Ward it should be a start too. I think that defense for the Jaguars is a little sus, man. So yeah, I like Cam Ward this week, and let's move into your sleepers, non-stars trending up.
Well, I like Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, actually. He's definitely got it. He's pretty much borderline starter now, actually. And I like Kareem Hunt a lot, actually. This
Well,
week.
is Pacheco going to get worked into starting position? That's my question. I don't think so. But
is Pacheco back this week, though? He's still hurt.
He played last week.
Okay, he played a little bit. Okay, but still, Hunt still had a majority of the carries last week. So I still like Hunt as a sleeper. So that's why I'm going to. And Pacheco probably will get his starting role back eventually, but I don't think it's going to be this week. And with that poor Dallas D, I think they both could feast on that poor Dallas D. They're not good against the run at all. I agree with Justice Hill. I like that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I like the Justice Hill pick. I agree with you on that. The Zay Flowers could probably have a breakout game too against Cincinnati. Their secondary is just horrible. So I like Zay Flowers too. He's been kind of a bust this year as well. But I saw some people in my dynasty leagues have been trying to trade for him and giving up a ton, but he hasn't really done much this year. But I think this is the game that he could have a good game against the Cincinnati defense for sure. I do like your Jacksonville guys too. I like Tootin this week. Bashan Tootin for the Jacksonville James. He didn't have a really good week this last week. Etienne took over the backfield, but Tootin I think could have a good game against Tennessee. And I like Parker Washington and Strange, both of those guys. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars, like you were saying, against the Tennessee Titans. I like Devin Neal against Miami's defense. If he's starting, he's a nice young running back. He could have a kind of a semi-breakout game against Miami. I like that matchup. I do like Kirk Cousins as well, and Mooney. Mooney definitely is the number one there with London out. So keep an eye on London too. I'm not sure if he'll be out this week or not as well, but if he is, definitely Mooney's definitely a starter, and he's definitely trending up with London out if London is out this week. And then Pittsburgh out. Actually, I like Mason Rudolph. Buffalo's defense is just in shambles right now, and they might even make the playoffs if they don't start winning some games here. So I like Mason Rudolph if he starts for Rodgers again, or if Rodgers starts, whoever starts at quarterback for them. I like Jalen Warren over Kenneth Gainwell, though. Warren actually had more snaps and more touches last week against Pittsburgh, and he actually looked really good as well. But I wouldn't be against Kenneth Gainwell as well, though. So I do like that pick on your part, but I'm kind of leaning towards Jalen Warren, though.
I'm just saying he's a non-starter trending up, though, Dave. That
makes sense. Yeah, so definitely agree with the Gainwell pick then. And then you want to keep an eye out if Hampton's back actually this week too for Los Angeles Chargers. He's been practicing as well, so he could be back this week. So definitely a pickup with that. We missed too that you want to pick up Hampton this week for the Chargers running back if he's out there. And he's possibly the guy trending up this week too against that poor Raiders D as well. So those are mine that I got for this week. And New England, of course, Ramon Stevenson and Henderson definitely against that poor Giants D.
All right, I misspoke. Pacheco was available. He's on his 21-day window, but he didn't actually play a snap.
So I didn't think he played this past week. Yeah,
he's available though, so I think he's going to play this week. So I am worried still about him eventually overtaking Hunt. I do agree it's not going to be this week though. So fair enough. I will give you that, and that's a good non-starter trending up. I was starting Hunt in a few leagues throughout the last few weeks. Well, why don't you move on to bust, Dave? Who's going to mess things up for us?
Right. Well, I don't like Detroit this week against the Green Bay D. They played them really well last time. We'll see if the second time's a charm here, but the Green Bay played Detroit pretty tough last week. So I'm definitely downgrading like Montgomery and Jameson Williams for sure.
Hey Dave, don't bet your turkey on it, my friend. Don't bet your turkey on it, all right?
I will not. But I don't like Chicago against Philadelphia this week. Philadelphia's been balling on defense. So I don't like that matchup for Chicago this week. That's going to be a tough game for Chicago. We'll see what they're really made of this week, actually, for sure. But they've been playing well. I got to give you that. First place in the division. But I don't like that matchup for them this week, though. I don't like Houston against Indianapolis this week, or vice versa. I don't like any of the Indianapolis guys either against the tough Houston D. So I think Daniel Jones can struggle this week again. And I don't like Davis Mills against Indianapolis D. They've been actually playing. They've been pretty solid. They're not a spectacular defense, but they've been solid all year. So
why is CJ Stroud not back? Why is CJ Stroud? What is going on? He's still in concussion protocol today, and it's bugging me a bit. Don't get me wrong. Davis Mills is playing just as good as he was, but still,
He's playing better, I think, if anything. But the concussions are weird though, because like Dart's already been out 2 weeks, and he could be out another week. So like it's like 2-3 weeks now for some concussions, depending on how bad they are.
Well,
But
the
I think
Giants
Dart
aren't
had one earlier
competing.
this year.
The Giants aren't competing for anything, and I don't think they should risk him. But the
No,
Texans now with like what they're 6-5 now. I think the Texans
they're a
now are
legit
kind of
playoff team.
yeah they're back into the what they were last year a little bit. I'm real excited for this game. Go ahead though. Sorry for interrupting.
That's right. And then I don't like the Carolina Panthers against the Los Angeles Rams. They've actually been balling out on defense lately too. Their defense is probably top 10 right now. Their defense is really strong. So don't like Panthers. I don't like Young or Dwaddle against the Rams defense this week. It's a bad matchup for them. I don't like that game. Don't like the Raiders against the Chargers. Their offense is just a mess. Like I said, they fired their coordinator too as well. I don't like that game. Los Angeles Chargers after a bye too. They're going to come to play. I don't like the Commanders this week. I don't like Mariota or either one of their running backs, Bill or Rodriguez. I don't like either one of them. You're probably not starting. I'm not starting Debo either this week. So definitely all those guys. I don't like the. I'm gonna say I don't think Jameis Winston has as good of a game if he plays. I like Dart if he plays, but definitely downgrading Jameis Winston this week. New England's defense has been pretty solid all year as well.
Famous Jameis. Yeah, we'll see. Usually you get bad Jameis after you get good Jameis. So
exactly. Well, but he's still fun to watch either way.
I agree with you on the Daniel Jones, and he's out against the Texans, and that's rough, man. Or he was bad last week in the clutch. He just could not close that deal, and I already ripped on him enough on this podcast. Brock Purdy against the Browns is a little suspect. Is he gonna throw 3 picks in the first half? What the hell, Purdy? They should be up way more. Juwan Jennings also against the Browns. I think Myles Garrett could feast on them. I mean, and if Shedeur Sanders has another competent game, it's a little dangerous. It could be a little dangerous for the Niners. That's all I'm saying. Quarterback Caleb Williams against the Eagles is bad. I hate to say it, but I think the Bears are finally due to get their ass cleaned. But it's kind of like the Bears can kind of handle the low to medium teams, and they do really well. But I think that they're the kind of team young enough when they hit the big dogs, they'll get smashed. And the Eagles probably in a bad spot. So I don't like any of the Bears, really. I don't like DeAndre Swift. I agree with you, Monagai. He's really been picking it up, and it's almost going to be a split now. It's 60-40 now, but I can see Monagai getting a hell of a lot more carries. Quarterback Bryce Young against the Rams is sad. Rico Dowdle as well, Dave. So I agree with you on those. Nico Collins even against the Colts. I don't like him so much, especially if it's Mills again. Actually, Mills or Stroud, it don't matter. We already talked about that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter against that.
I don't like Josh Jacobs if he starts against the Lions. I don't know who's going to start on Thursday. I don't know if he'll be back, Dave. I suspect he'll be back. But the Lions have been stopping the run lately.
Yeah, he was borderline. He could almost played last week, but I don't know. I think hold him on another week because then they have like a week and a half off almost. So hey, hold him on again. I would just start Wilson. Wilson looked good.
Yeah, Wilson looked good against the Vikings. Should I just put JJ McCarthy in my all-time bust list? Let's do that. JJ McCarthy all-time bust.
They had Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, and they let both of them go. They definitely picked the wrong quarterback. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, they sure have a lot to do. I don't think that either Jones or Darnold are going to win the Super Bowl, but yeah, JJ McCarthy shouldn't even be starting right now. That brings us to our nasty sleeper. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Former Wisconsin Badger Chimere DK is my nasty sleeper. At home against the Jaguars, the hapless Jaguars that just gave up a ton of passing yards to Brissett. I think that Chimere DK has a big game, and I might even bet the Titans this week.
I love it. I like that one. I'm actually, I hate to say this, but this is the one I don't really like this to say this is my D-Nasty sleeper, but I'm going with it just because I like the matchup and I think he could play well. I'm going with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins against the Jets. The Jets defense has just been horrible all year. Cousins had a pretty decent game last week, and I think he could play better this week with another start under his belt. So, and he likes Mooney and Pitts, so I definitely think he could have a good game this week against the Jets. So I'm going with Kirk Cousins as my D-Nasty sleeper this week.
Well, I tried him against the Dolphins, and it sure didn't work good. But that was his first game. Yeah, we'll see.
Yes.
I do have him as my trending up, so I agree. I'm with you. He's got to do something, and he's not completely bad. He's bad, but he's not completely bad, and he's now been practicing a little bit more as well. So I agree. Anything we missed, Dave?
No, I don't think so. Just remember, there's the Thursday and Friday games, so make sure you get all your lineups set before Thursday and enjoy your Thanksgiving.
As soon as you get your waivers on Wednesday, play all the guys that are not questionable, and then as Thursday comes, switch them out when you find out, because you'll screw up. There's too much crap going on Thursday. Your alarms aren't set to go off that morning. I would get that completed, right, Dave?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, my
Get
friends.
all those injured guys out. Replace them at game time when you find out before Thanksgiving, or just go with the safer plays even too. You don't want to start an injured guy by accident, for sure.
Some great advice right there. Make sure you take it to the bank. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have some questions for us, feel free to tweet us at the Oddsbreakers. Email us at info@theoddsbreakers.com. Make sure you check out FanDuel Sports, our friends at FanDuel. They have the best lines in the business. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you tomorrow, and go get some winners.